My boss's behavior makes me feel extremely uncomfortable in the workplace. How do I deal with it? I'm not in a position to change my job right now. Now, this happens all the time because with so much of situations happening in companies, there would be more often than not situations where you would not be very comfortable the behavior of the boss. Now, more often than not, you might not want to go to the HR for obvious reason, but then how do I deal with it? Now, obviously, this is somebody who's been going through this, and I also need to understand that he or she has mentioned that he's not in a position to change the job. So if you're not in a position to change the job, I would say there has to be somewhere where there has to be middle ground. Now, extremely uncomfortable in the workplace can be many different situations. It can be physical harassment, emotional harassment, or kind of mental harassment. These are all different areas where you might not be comfortable with your boss's behavior. Now, suppose in a situation where you might not be comfortable going to the HR, believe me, not many are comfortable going to the HR because for obvious reasons, they do not want to get into the bad books of the boss, or they feel the HR might be biased, but then you might have to deal with it on your own. Now, there is no one solution which I can give here right now in terms of how do you deal with it. But mostly what I would again say here is hold your ground. As much as possible, see where you can find somewhere that you can manage and navigate yourself better. But if you're not in a position to leave the job right now, I would strongly advocate you to not to quit, but then give yourself a couple of months of time, say 3 months or anything from 3 to 6 months. I think is a reasonable amount of time to get into another job. So for that time, you have to lay low as much as possible. If the behavior is something which you feel is happening with you when you're alone with your boss, try to minimize that particular situation to the bare minimum. See if you can probably interact with your boss, probably in a group, in a team where 1 or 2 more people are around, and just keep low. The thing here is, the moment you keep yourself a little low, you're not in the radar of your boss, then you might not have to kind of experience the uncomfortable behavior, what you're going through. Do that, and I would suggest look out for a job, because if you feel probably right now you're not in a position to get into another job, that doesn't necessarily mean that you might not be ready in the next 3 months. So I would recommend lay low, hold your ground, and be a little more shrewd here, and be a little more smarter. And I'm sure you'll be able to navigate yourself better. So that should, I think, help you to kind of deal with your boss. Again, if you remember the first question which I answered, don't take it personally. I mean, don't take it emotionally where it drains you out and it puts you on a negative spiral, because all these problems, what probably each one of you are coming up with, or challenges, is got nothing to do with you. It's got to do with somebody who's in a probably higher position or in a dominating position. He or she is trying to make use of the situation, and it's his or her problem to deal with it. So you do not have to take anything personally and emotionally, and allow yourself to get drained with this energy and move on. So I would highly recommend is not to kind of do anything rash or take a decision where it will probably affect your career and put you into a spot of bother at a later stage. Take a mature decisions, or if you feel you can work with somebody like a professional coach or a mentor, I would also advise that very strongly, for the simple reason that sometimes 2 heads are always better than 1. So when you bounce your ideas off with somebody else, you might probably look at it in a different perspective where you never looked at it earlier.